We obviously start Monday Night Raw this week with Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley already in the ring. Mick and Steph are doing everyone's catchphrases, doing people's dances, while they have got the talent on the ramp. They try and sort of encourage the talent to work hard towards Survivor Series, but they don't really offer anybody anything, apart from Strowman, who just wants to beat people up, and Rollins, who's got some kind of deal in the future. But everyone else is just going along for the fun of it. Stephanie does her best to try and compete with the Big Show's heel-face turning ratio. She jumps maybe 3 or 4 times in this whole promo. She praises people, and then she puts people down. It's just the usual thing with her. Foley claims it's more than just Raw vs SmackDown. Well, it's just Shane vs Steph, isn't it? That's all it is. Like I say, the stars have got nothing in return. Well, most of them don't. So it's just Shane vs Steph. McMahon's having fun with their little puppets, with their toys. Steph kicks Mick in the shin under the table, as it were, as he tries to book a match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, and Cesaro and Sheamus. We've also got Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho and Braun Strowman against the New Day, as well as Enzo and Big Cass and the Club versus the Golden Truth and the Shining Stars. And they all make perfect sense, but then we've got Sasha Banks and Charlotte teaming up against Nia Jax and Alicia Fox, who are all meant to be teaming together on Sunday. Oh wait, no, it's because these are the only birds they've got in the division. No, shit, never mind. So now we've got Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns facing Cesaro. The banter between Owens and Reigns was fun. Sheamus and Cesaro had their usual shtick. Owens refused to tag Roman in because he didn't say please. And then Reigns was about to hit a spear. Owens tagged himself in. They got in each other's face. Bro kicked to Owens. Then Reigns took 10 fucking seconds to figure out which rope to use. Then he hit Sheamus with a spear, pulled Owens on top of him, and then they got the win. Chris Jericho tries to bring his team together by buying them scarves. Rollins informs him he doesn't really like scarves and returns it. Strowman's only interested in Jericho's scarf, which in turn he tears into 2. Strowman buggers off and Jericho's left wearing the scarf that he bought for Braun. Well, that didn't look very good for Bo. I thought they were giving him a push, but obviously not. Sami Zayn beats him with an Aluva kick. Right, so The Weeknd, just fuck right off. Just learn how to spell and fuck off. I don't care how catchy you think your tune is. Crabs are catchy, they're not a good thing. Fuck off. Learn to spell. Backstage, the Brian Kendrick tries to rally the cruiserweights. He guarantees success at Survivor Series. Sin Cara steps forward and starts a fight because he's picking on his mate Kalisto. As the New Day headed to the ring, they were flogging the shit out of the merch. They literally had a shopping trolley full of stuff. Jericho tries to lead Strowman and Rollins, but Strowman just does his own thing and destroys everybody, and he finishes Xavier with his running power slam. Once that's done, it's time for Strowman to take off his top, show his nips to the camera, and let Vince have a good butchers. While him and his nips are busy dancing for the boss, Jericho gets in Rollins' face, who then pedigrees Jericho, walks out and leaves him. Mick and Steph are joined by Paul Heyman, who highlights the intense confrontation between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg later on. He compliments the SmackDown Live Survivor Series team and then waddles off. Stephanie makes sure Foley gets on the phone and arranges as much security as possible for later on. Previously on Total Dickheads, 2 stuck-up birds talk with their hands. No, he hasn't tried to twist his head off. He just spun the mask around and then applied the captain's hook while he was blind. Nice sneaky win for Kendrick going into Survivor Series against Kalisto. Nice match, but people just don't really seem to care about the cruiserweights like I've said a few times lately. It's a shame. Well, some of that was good and some of it wasn't. Enzo and Kaz do have the ability to make me laugh, but it's just they continuously just use the same old shit all the time. They've got catchphrases that are over. That's all they're allowed to do. The ring looks pretty good. They've got some security guys in there. I can't quite believe that's all the security Mick Foley could find. I know it's short notice, but he could have found more than 10 blokes. Brock Lesnar alone could handle those. Brock's a monster. He's a highly skilled... the daft cunt. He just slipped on the apron. Oh, no, don't tell him I've said that. Shh, let's just be quiet for now. Anyway, the scene that's been set looks pretty good. Goldberg one side, Lesnar at the other. Bloke stood in the middle. They don't like much of a wall, but it's a wall nonetheless. Thankfully, Heyman does the majority of the talking, with Brock and Goldberg just chiming in from time to time. Heyman mentions Goldberg's family too many times. Brock also tries to goad him to come through. Goldberg loses it, starts beating up the security guys. Brock even marks out for Goldberg at one point. He rips his shirt off, looks like he's going to get in the ring, and then backs away last moment. And Goldberg just gives the crowd the old grin and thumbs up while Brock walks away. Oh, sorry, what? Yeah. Foley applauds the blokes from Team Raw, and Jericho and Owen show how good of friends they are by sharing a very nice new scarf. Again with this Emelina shit. If I want to look at tits and asses, there's the fucking rest of the internet. Piss off. Look, right, I know this is going to sound a bit fucking sadistic at first, but can we just fuse Enzo and Kaz with the Golden Truth, so I only have to feel like this once per show, and they don't just divide it, just put them together. I can just go for a shit at that time, and that's fine. The match itself was alright though. The club at the end hit the Magic Killer, and they teased Enzo and Kaz into tagging him in for their silly named finisher, but then he didn't tag him in and just pinned him anyway, leaving Enzo hanging. But they managed to work together as a team, and they go forward to Survivor Series to do so again. And what a surprise, the main event will consist of the authority figures starting and being there and just dancing in the spotlight as per usual. Luckily Shane and Daniel Bryan don't give Steph much chance to talk, they come down. Steph and Mick bring Team Raw down, surround the GMs of SmackDown. They laugh and announce that they didn't come alone, and then we've got a big standoff between Team Raw and Team SmackDown. Jericho and Owen start running through everyone, putting people on the list. AJ goes on the list. Jericho sees Ellsworth, puts him on the list, wonders what the hell it is, announces that there's a lost child at ringside. Bray Wyatt gets in Braun Strowman's face and starts questioning his actions. Braun puffs his chest out and then Orton gets in Braun's face. Eventually, Dean Ambrose lights the fuse and they all start fighting. At one point, Jericho thinks he's the last man standing, but he doesn't realise Orton's behind him and hits him with an RKO. This causes the skirmish to restart. Everyone gets the finishing moves in. Roman Reigns gets his in twice. The climax of the scuffle sees Roman and Seth powerbombing AJ to the rest of Team SmackDown outside. I don't really think there was any doubt that Team Raw weren't going to look strong heading into the Survivor Series, especially since the first confrontation was going to be on their show. I wonder if anybody's going to be on SmackDown. It's time to raise a glass for the folk making the effort this week. First we've got, obviously, Corey Graves. Mentioning Dolph Ziggler calls him a Skid Row reject, constantly on his game. Just fantastic, keep it up. Pay him more, just keep him interested all the time. Next we've got Bo Dallas looking more and more like Bray each week. It's a shame we got a loss, but, you know, he's looking good, he's sounding good. I'm just praying they put him with Braun somehow in some form of a Raw version of the Wyatts. Chris Jericho, of course, for just showing everybody how it's done on a weekly basis. His attitude, his body language, his response with the crowd, it's all fantastic. Kevin Owens playing a close second in my opinion, bouncing off Jericho very well. I'm hoping they keep them together until at least Royal Rumble and build for a match at Mania. I think it's going to be really good when they finally fall out and have a fight. The Brock and Goldberg segment looked good, it felt good, it played out well. It's built all this time now, but the star of that segment really was Heyman. He held it together, he let Brock and Goldberg play off each other, he controlled the crowd, he knows what he's doing, his delivery and timing are always spot on. And finally, hats off to the daft cunt in the unicorn mask that was dancing during the New Day's entrance. Yeah, at wrestling show people know what you are, but out in public, probably best not to wear that one. It's a bit creepy. And now it's time to piss on the doorstep of people that have annoyed me this week, beginning with authority figures. Just continuously, Raws all the time, SmackDowns at the end, fair enough, was a little special, I'm not used to them on Raw, but all the time, Steph and Mick, they're dancing, singing, there's just really no need for it. Stephanie McMahon again for a general bad logic with booking, putting people in situations where they shouldn't be, threatening people, just having a fucking lady tackle out and just trying to puff her chest out as well. Like I said earlier, she's given very few talent incentive to actually do well at Survivor Series, there's no bonus on hand. So her threats are just empty, and it's just getting tiring now. Please stop talking about the other brand. When you're at the joint events, like at Survivor Series, fair enough. But when you're meant to be at competition with each other, and you're on your show, don't advertise them. Stop it. You're pissing on your own logic here. I know this isn't a very popular opinion of mine, but the Divas division hasn't gone anywhere. Granted, we're not as bad as we were with Kelly, Michelle McCall, and that fucking Layla that tells people she's from fucking America when she's not really a Cockney. Fuck off. But it's not fucking bee's knees like everyone's trying to say it is at the minute. It's good, but it's not fantastic, so don't brag about it being fantastic and then get complacent. With all the squabbling and hair pulling and fucking fake nails and hand talking, it is just total divas now. I'm sorry. The lasses on SmackDown aren't perfect, but they are better, I'm afraid. I feel a bit bad for the cruiserweights, they don't really seem to know where to be at the minute. Crowds aren't getting into them anymore. I think they've been alienated a bit too much with having the purple ropes and ring and everything. They should just interject them with the rest of the roster. Unless, you know, you want to compete for the title, you can still have matches with people that aren't cruiserweights. It wouldn't hurt them, and it just keeps them a bit refreshing rather than seeing the same matches between the same handful of guys over and over again. Maybe it would work better on SmackDown, since it has the affiliation with SmackDown's Daniel Bryan and Mauro Ranallo. I'm not sure, but something needs to be done because it's just hurting good talent and a good idea. And lastly, we've got this group of twats cosplaying as a wrestler. I'm guessing they're new to wrestling and they don't know anybody that isn't an ignorant racist prick, but fair enough, I hope they had a good time. I didn't enjoy it. And that's enough out of me for the week. If you'd like to comment, please follow the link in the description to the Botchamania site and do so there. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I can be found at Blunt Damage. And if you'd like to hear more from the band playing the theme song, They are The Colour Fire, and they are at www.thecolourfire.com. I'll see you next week.